This lesson is a review of statistics. Statistics are numbers that represent what data looks like. So when we talk about statistics, 4 words that we're usually talking about are mean, median, mode, and range. And I'll remind you of what each of those are. Mean, another word for mean is the average. So when you hear average or mean, those mean exactly the same thing. And an average is basically we want to take all of these numbers and we want to evenly distribute them so that every number would be the same. So that's kind of the idea behind a mean. If you remember in class, we used blocks and we were trying to make even stacks of blocks. That's like finding the mean. That's how we find the mean. And to do that mathematically, you would add all of the numbers up and then you divide by the number of data points that you have. So in this case, we would add all these up and then divide by 9. The median is the middle number, but the really important thing about median is that you have to write them in order. So median is the middle number when they're in order. Order is super important. If we found the median of this data set, it would be different than if we had the numbers actually in order. So we have to have them in order to make sure that we are actually finding the middle number. Mode, you probably remember, means the most. So the number that occurs the most, the data point that occurs the most. It's not the biggest number. That's called the maximum. It's the one that occurs the most. And then range is how spread out the numbers are. So when we find that mathematically, we do the difference of the biggest number minus the smallest number. So difference of the biggest number, which is the maximum, and the smallest number, which is the minimum. So we are going to use this as an example to find each of these statistical measures. So I've already kind of done a little bit of work ahead of time to make this video a little bit shorter. So when we find the mean, remember we want to add all of these numbers up and then divide by the number of digits that we have. So when I added up 6 plus 3 plus 8 plus 9 plus 4 plus 2 plus 8 plus 2 plus 2, I got 44. And then I want to divide that by 9 because there are 9 numbers here. So when I divide 44 by 9, I get 4.9. So our mean is 4.9. That means if we took all of these digits and we redistributed them so that every digit was exactly the same, every digit would have to be 4.9. Okay, the median, I already put the numbers in order right here, in order from least to greatest. So if we were to find the median, one strategy that people kind of found helpful was if we cross numbers off as we go. So if we were to cross off numbers on each end, that's an easy way to keep track of when we've actually found the middle. So I crossed off 3 on the right side, I crossed off 3 on the left side, and then I'll just keep crossing them off as I get to the middle, and I have exactly 1 number in the middle. So the median in this case would be 4. Now, sometimes you have a data set that doesn't have exactly 1 number in the middle. So pretend pretend that in this data set we had 2 numbers that were in the middle. We had 4 and 6. So if we had 4 and 6 that were both in the middle, we would have to find the number that's right in between them. So the number right in between 4 and 6 is 5. Pretend that we have 4 and 3 right in the middle. We'd have to find the number right in between 3 and 4, which is 3.5. So sometimes if you have a median that's not 1 number, you have to find the number that's right in between those 2 numbers. Mode is the number that occurs the most. So the only one that occurs 3 times is the number 2. So 2 would be our mode. And then the range is the difference between the biggest number and the smallest number. So the biggest number is 9. That's the maximum. The minimum is 2. And that would mean that the range is 7. So you can see all of these numbers are different, and that's why a lot of times we talk about in statistics, people can use these numbers to mean whatever they want to. So you can people pick and choose a lot of times what statistical measure they use when they're telling people about their data because it's what they want people to see. So it's really important that you know about these so that you don't get misled when looking at data.